Welcome to our fall IPM field day. My name is Rachel Rudolph. I'm the Extension Vegetable Specialist in the Department of Horticulture with a focus in commercial vegetable production. So we are in a fairly cozy high tunnel here. The temp says it's about 60 degrees in here. We have sidewalls opening and closing automatically, so just, ignore that if you see things moving in the background. We are here in a lettuce Sclerotinia trial. So we did this same trial in the spring, and now we're repeating it in the fall. So Sclerotinia, also known as lettuce drop, can be a major issue, especially in high tunnels. This tunnel is naturally inoculated with Sclerotinia, meaning that we did not bury any inoculum. It's just here, and we started to notice issues. And so along with Dr. Goche in plant pathology, we created this trial to evaluate different lettuce cultivars, different planting dates, and different moisture levels that could potentially affect the development and disease symptoms of Sclerotinia in lettuce. So we're on the high side irrigation. You can probably see it's been recently irrigated. The other half of the tunnel is low irrigation. So the high irrigation is 100 to 60% field capacity, whereas the low side is 80 to 40% field capacity, or 60 to 40% field capacity, excuse me. So we are irrigating according to data loggers, soil moisture sensors telling us when we've hit those marks. So the high side gets irrigated, as you can imagine, the high side gets irrigated a lot more frequently. And so you can see the soil's pretty wet here. And so one of the questions we're asking is, does irrigation, the amount of irrigation, affect the development of lettuce drop in spring, is what we asked in the spring, and now in fall, right? We have 4 different lettuce cultivars. 2 are noted by the seed companies to be resistant to lettuce drop, and 2 are non-resistant. So we're also asking that question, does, selecting a resistant or non-resistant cultivar, is that an important component? You would think it would, right? But we found some interesting results in the spring study. So one of the resistant cultivars was actually one of the worst performers in the spring. So keeping that in mind. And then the other component is planting date. So we do an early, mid, and late, what we would consider early, mid, and late planting date in the spring. And now we've done this in the fall too. So the late planting date for the fall was just this week, just Tuesday. And then 2 weeks prior to that was what we considered mid, and 2 weeks prior to that was the early. And certainly we could bump those up. We were a little behind with weather and complications, just like many of you can probably sympathize with. And so, if we repeat this study, we may consider early, more into the August timeframe. So we have not seen any lettuce drop yet as of, in the fall. So that is also a really interesting thing for growers to potentially take away from this, is that if you're really struggling with this disease that can stay in your soil for years, but you're a high tunnel grower and you want to grow lettuce, you make lots of money off of lettuce, maybe don't grow it in the spring, maybe grow it in the fall, right? The results aren't completely out on that yet, but something to consider. It doesn't mean you need to stop growing lettuce entirely. Maybe you need to shift your irrigation practices, shift your cultivars, those kind of things.